Hello, everybody. Happy Thursday. My name is Daron, live from our office in Boca, where we talk about wholesale. We help people succeed in wholesale real estate investments and help you get to live your dream life. I'm your host, Daron Isim, and I have Mike here remotely from New Jersey. Mike, how you doing, man?
Doing absolutely great. It's very cold here in New Jersey, but doing great. How are you?
Yeah, I bet it's cold, crazy, but here in Florida it's also raining. So we're live here, hotline for wholesale. If you have any questions, put it in the comments. If you want to call us to the show, go ahead, 904-770-3195. I'm going to answer your calls and answer your questions. So today, Mike, tell us, how was your week calling sellers, talking to buyers? What's going on?
So I had to do both ends of the spectrum this week, and I learned a lot in terms of the disposition side, which I haven't done because I've only done acquisition before. And it was a very good learning experience to see how people actually find these buyers for wholesaling, and
Right.
it's definitely a iterative process to find all of those qualified buyers instead of just buyers that are not qualified. And on the selling end, I there's talking to sellers. One thing I definitely learned this week is that sometimes it's costly on your productivity to, I guess, fixate on specific seller leads instead of expanding yourself and going after other seller leads because you think, oh, this person's going to give you a deal. I'm just going to keep calling him. I'm not going to call anybody else, and then it kind of like ruins your productivity.
Right,
Um,
right.
that's something that I
Yeah,
really
and
thought.
I like to have automated stuff. I mean, our CRMs and our systems usually they're automated. So even if you have kind of like warm or cold leads, it will send them automated text and emails, and even call them or give us a call and call them. So all those automations can help you get to sellers that are like they were back there in the back on the CRM, but you can get the deal done. A lot of people right now they want to sell their properties. They want to get out because they were trying to sell it, or they had a situation that they couldn't sell and now they have to sell. So it's good to go back to your old leads and call them. Always follow up on your. The gold is in the old. That's what I always say. So all the old leads, you can convert them to sellers right away.
Yes, and I actually did exactly what you're saying. I made a master list of old leads and then started sending text to them. And like you said, exactly like you said, people responded.
Right.
And it's leads that I noticed maybe we texted a long time ago and they weren't interested. They just didn't even respond. But then this time you text them and all of a sudden they want to come down on their price significantly.
Exactly.
So I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, I love that. When somebody's saying, "No, I would never sell for this price," and then they come back and say, "Yeah, well, maybe."
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I have some stuff for you today, because a lot of people are trying to close the deal by the end of the year, and we have 15 days by the end of the year. So let me give you a few pointers how you can actually get a seller to sell you something, to sell your house by the end of the year. So first of all, you're gonna find all those pre foreclosures houses that needs to they're gonna go to foreclosure in January. Okay, so it's very close. Their auction date set for January, specifically for 30 days or less, and you would hit those people, and they're being hit from other investors. But if you are pretty consistent and you talk to them, and you actually the one thing that we have here is to be in touch with them and communicate with them. Okay, so hear them out, see what their problem, and actually solve their problem. That's what we're doing here, solve people problems. And I think we have a call here, so let's see. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you? Who is this? Who are we talking with?
You're talking to Sam.
Hi,
I have a
Sam.
question for you.
Yes, definitely. What can we help you with?
For someone who's just starting out and getting deals, and let's say I have 200 qualified buyers on my list in my market, is it recommended that we tell the seller that it will take longer to close because we are new and only have a small list of buyers, or should we not even start getting deals under
Well, if you have 200 buyers, qualified buyers on your list, I wouldn't wait. I wouldn't say anything to the seller about that. I mean, because basically you're going there to buy the property. You might even want to buy it yourself if it's a great deal. And you don't want to tell them I'm new to this or things like that because it's just gonna make the seller go away. So you wanna be confident in yourself, and you want to make sure that you give them a good offer, but that an offer is going to be good for you, for your buyers, and also for the sellers. Always try to get a win-win situation for everybody. That's what I always aim for.
So you're saying that I should just go ahead and just start doing it?
Yes, exactly. And never wait. I mean, even if you're not 100% sure or 100% ready, just start and you'll get ready, and you'll do it. You'll get to it once you start with the flow, once you start talking to people. The main thing is actually talking to people and get in touch with them and communicate with people, because that's how you learn.
And what would you say to someone that's afraid to talk to buyers?
Someone that's afraid to talk to buyers,
Yes.
I would say start calling your friends and pitching them a house for sale, and it's going to be exactly the same thing. So it's very friendly conversation. You're not intimidating anybody. You're not trying to sell bad stuff. It's just a friendly conversation that you talk to, and buyers are open. They want to find a good deal, so they'll be more open to hear what you have to say. So that's the truth.
Well, thank you so much for answering my question.
Of course. And I want to hear back from you and see how it goes. And good luck in your journey. 2024 is your year.
Thank you.
All right. Bye bye. All right, Mike. So that was Sam, and she was asking about buyers, and she has a lot of buyers. So I mean, I would suggest just start calling people, sellers, and start getting deals.
Yeah, and I think one of the really interesting things that she brought up was kind of the confidence. Like I feel
Exactly.
like when you have confidence, or that you brought up, was kind of when you have confidence that you have buyers and you have people to buy the properties, it becomes much easier. And I feel like it comes through to the sellers that you are a real buyer. And if you don't have those buyers, the confidence, the lack of confidence, kind of comes through to the sellers, and they might not take you as seriously. What do you
Exactly.
think about that?
Yeah, yeah. And that's what I always say. I mean, first have the buyers, have them know exactly what they're looking for and have confidence in their ability to close. Once you have that, it's very easy to go to the sellers and start talking to them and pitching them offers. Very easy. We actually have a couple of questions here in the chat. So the first question is people starting out with no money. Okay, so I mean, no money. It's kind of, you're gonna need to have at least $100 in your pocket just to have to download a list or to have a texting software to call people to text them. So that's very little money. So that's what I would advise. Start getting a list of people that needs to sell right now. Like I said, if it's the pre foreclosures, or if that's also a tax deeds that's coming up, and text those people. If you don't have money at all, just download that list from the public records and drive to those houses. And I don't like driving. I've been driving for years and years and years, and it's such a waste of time, especially if you're doing it virtually. But if you're doing it in your hometown and you can drive, you don't have money, but you have some time, you can drive to those properties, put a sticky note, knock on the door, and talk to people and hear what they have to say. And if you get a really good deal, you just put it out, and I'm sure you're going to find a buyer to buy it, and then you have money in your pocket to start doing much more marketing and get more sellers. Another question that
Uh,
we got here for somebody that's asking advice on attorney states. Well, attorney states are basically states that you have to close with an attorney and not with a regular title company. So I would suggest go out and find an attorney that is friendly for investors. So just ask your network, ask on Facebook, ask other people that you know that are doing real estate. Who are the attorneys they advise to use to do assignments, to do double close, to do real estate wholesaling deals, and they'll give you attorneys that are already doing that. And I also know a few attorneys that actually do wholesale themselves. So they are very open to work with wholesalers. Which softwares do you prefer and why? Well, there are so many. I can tell you. I mean, there's a bunch of softwares that I use, but I would tell you that I use a CRM. I use a texting software. I use an AI bot to do a lot of filtering and a lot of stuff. We're actually working on an AI bot to text people automatically, and maybe Mike can tell us something about that. But we are using a lot of software to pull lists, software to skip trace the list. So those are all the software that you'll need to use. And I would suggest just start with one, which is going to be the texting software. And from there, you're going to add a CRM because you have a bunch of leads. And then from there, you're going to add more softwares. Do wholesalers needs to worry about EMD? Well, you do need to have an EMD. Basically, you can put $10 as an EMD. EMD is the earnest money deposit that you need to put once you have a contract. And you need to have a deposit to have a valid contract. You can't just put zero. But you can put zero. I mean, you can put $10, not zero. You can put $10. You can put $100. That's not a lot of money. And you can also just put it under after the inspection period is done. That means that in 10, 15 days, you can just put that deposit and not worry about it until you actually have a buyer that can put the deposit for you. So if you guys have more questions, Mike, I think you had a couple of questions also.
Yeah, I actually I thought some of these questions were really good. I did have two questions, and I still want to ask them, but I wanted to bounce off of some of these great questions that we got from the audience. The first person asked for advice, starting with little to no money. What if somebody, let's say, has $1,000, let's say, and they want to put it in, but they don't know where to spend the money? Where would you spend the money,
Right.
$1,000, to get started?
Yeah, so I would download a list of super motivated sellers. Those are niche lists, and I would text them and I would call them. So that's the money that I would spend. Once I have a deal going on, then I would find a buyer to sell it to. But that's the first thing that I would spend my money to find the most motivated sellers in my market and market to them that I'm looking to buy their property.
Okay. All right. And then I guess just to jump into my question. So the first question I had was, what factors kind of determine whether you can go and close in 30 or less days, or it's going to take like 90 days or more?
Yeah, well, everybody wants to close tomorrow, you know. It's funny because you call a seller and they're like, "Hey, I'll sign a contract, but you got to close tomorrow." I'm like, "Okay." Yeah, well, it doesn't happen like that. But to pull title and to do all the searches, probably it's going to take 7 to 10 days. Sometimes if you do close quit claim deed and you just say, fine, whatever, I'm just gonna quit claim it to me, and you pay them the money, you can close in 2 days. But in real life, if you actually want to wholesale the deal and you want to find a buyer, it's going to take a little bit more than 7 days. You can just close it with your own money and then go out there and find a buyer to buy it. If it's such an amazing deal, let's say you buy the 20% of the ARV and it's amazing deal, I would suggest you just buy it with your own money or find a partner. So you're going to find another person that's looking to buy or buying in the area, and you're just going to partner with them. They're going to put all the money, you guys are going to buy it and then flip it or put it on the market for sale.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
And it seems like that closing within 7 days would be really hard. But I always like to think this, and I'm really interested in your answer. What conditions would kind of need to be true for somebody to close in 7 days if they didn't have the money themselves and they had to find another buyer?
right. So I would find a partner first. I would find somebody that has the money and he can close in 2 days. So that I would qualify partners. I would even meet them in person or meet them over Zoom and make sure they are ready to go. They're looking to buy a property right now and they can't find something good. So I would start with that and it's like having the money. or I would find a hard money lender that's looking to partner with me. Hard money lenders, they have the money, right? So if they're looking, sometimes some of them are a little bit smaller. They're not a big company, but they are doing deals. So I would just go to the hard money lender and try to negotiate a partnership, JV, joint venture, with the hard money, so they can put the money and close it with you. And then you can close it in 7 days if everything is good with the property. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. So we have another question. What's where do you find unmotivated sellers lists for? I know it's like a secret and everybody's asking for it. I mean, there are so many websites that sells lists and stuff, but those most motivated sellers are people that have need right now to sell. Okay, and they're not always going to answer your call. They're not always going to answer your text. But I would just go to website that can pull data from the public records and see what people just died, and get the probate list, or get the pre-foreclosures, people that going to have a foreclosure coming up, or tax deed. So people are going to lose their property in the next 15 to 30 days. They are in real need to sell it right now and get some money out of it. Those are the most motivated sellers you can find.
No, and to bounce off of that, something you said earlier, you mentioned filtering was really important. So, any like words on filtering instead of going and calling like a list without filtering that list?
What kind of filtering, like you're asking?
Like filtering, meaning like say we send out text messages instead of like calling everybody, we'll send text messages to them and filter out the actual motivated sellers
Mhm.
before going and calling everybody on the list.
Okay. Well, if somebody's actually answering you for your text, then I guess he's a little bit more motivated. So I would call them first and not call everybody on the list. But I would keep the flow going, and I would keep texting everybody, even people that didn't answer. I would keep texting them and reaching out to them and see if there is something you can do to help them out. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I mean, you gotta understand, wholesaling is like, it's a numbers game. The more people you're gonna reach out, the more chances of you to close a deal. So it's a numbers game. You gotta have at least a certain amount of leads, certain amount of buyers, certain amount of data to be able to actually start closing deals. And if you have very little data, your chances of closing something is going to be very hard. And a lot of people are just starting out. They're gonna drive around, put some sticky notes, try this, try that, put a sign, or call two people. It doesn't work. You gotta put more effort into it. It's not, you can call it a side hustle, but that side hustle, you gotta put some time into it, at least an hour to 3 hours a day, doing the same repetitive stuff. It's going to make you better, and it's going to make your leads better. It's going to make your deals better. So you got to put that time into it.
Wow. So it seems like you liked the reps a lot. You're a fan of reps. Are you more of a fan of quality leads over the quantity, or
Yeah.
is it the opposite?
Yeah. I would say both. You need to tackle
Okay.
both things, both angles, because even if you have like in my CRM, I have 100,000 records. Okay, so that's a huge amount, and I can tell you that most of them are not motivated. Okay, but I still get in touch with most of them. So quality is good, but if you don't have enough, you got to go to the quantity and start reaching out to that big mass of people. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. All right. So people asking about JVing. Of course, we do JVing and we help people. So we're here, and every Thursday we answering questions. If you guys want to call us and be live on the show, 904-770-3195. We're going to be here next Thursday, 1 p.m. So thank you so much, Mike. It was great today.
pleasure.
All right. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Have a good one.
Bye.
All right.